First time I was in Israel was in February 2024. That was several months after October 7, when Israel was at the peak of war. It's kind of funny when people ask me, is this your first time in Israel? I'm like, no, second time. When was the first time? February 2024. Really? Yeah. Because last time we were here, it was the peak of war. I guess lots of people around the world were under the impression we can't go to Israel right now.
Right.
So especially Jerusalem, the touristic areas were empty, and I could have all of it to myself, which was kind of funny. You know, it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. Now it's not like that. Now that there's a ceasefire, people are flocking here. So it's clearly good on a financial, economic level for Israel to actually not be waging a war.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make any sense for Israel to deliberately keep a war going. So for those who actually think, oh, Israel wants to fight this war, Israel gets hurt a lot while they are fighting a war. And Hamas actually had it in mind to hurt Israel and to start fighting. So Israel has conducted a war, a very just war, for nearly 2 years, and is currently at a ceasefire point at pretty much the end of it. We will see what's going to happen. But throughout this time, Israel has been a great example of how to deal with a brutally hostile Islamist force.
You know what's funny that you say about Israel being hurt by this war? What I find ironic, and I really believe that this is the case, that after this war is said and done, because we're still in this sort of weird limbo zone right now where it feels like it's over, but it's not really over. Like there's still hostages in Gaza that we're trying to get back, the bodies of dead hostages. I think that the amount of time that the word Israel, the Jews, has been uttered in the last 2 years by everyone is actually going to cause an adverse effect on what the anti-Semites, I don't even like to say anti-Semites anymore. I like to say like the anti-Zionist people, the anti-Jewish people. It's going to cause the exact opposite effect. I think that a lot of people are going to be interested in this country, are going to want, and I predict that we're going to have the biggest tourism boom we've ever had, biggest financial boom right after this war is over.
There's a lot of funny talk about this whole thing. So there's this question the whole time, because in the international arena, especially considering that you have so many Muslims around the world, and Muslims have, as they view it, a religious obligation to stand with the Palestinians against Israel, which, by the way, we should talk about very precisely and deliberately with more emphasis in a little bit. They are very much steering the conversation in the world because of their high numbers and because of the perception that they are somehow victims. A lot of people around the world, especially among the leftist progressives, but also among the right nowadays, people have this impression that Israel is an oppressor, that Israel is fighting an aggressive war, that these people just want their rights and all that. And there has been, some people would describe it as a PR failure for Israel in the world. So people ask the question, Israel is kind of winning this war, but has Israel lost the war because of the whole PR war? And you could make the point that Israel hasn't lost any war at all, because much of what you hear online, much of what you hear in the arena, much of what you hear at the United Nations is just talk. They talk, they complain, they accuse.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, as Israel has ignored much of it, has continued their fight, and has achieved very much most of their war goals here. And in the end, I mean, look at us. We are in a beautiful place.
I do think, by the way, though, to make a counterpoint to that, just to play devil's advocate for a moment, when I read Charlie Kirk's letter to Bibi, what sat with me is precisely the issue that we've been dealing with in Israel. There has been, from our leadership in Israel, ignoring what it needs, what our PR needs to be to take us to that next level to fight this digital war. I consider myself and many of the advocates in this space who are fighting for Jews on behalf of Mizrahi Jews, Israel, the IDF, all this, I consider us part of that battalion that's fighting it. But, we get zero support for all the talk that we get paid $7,000 per post. I know it's all memes and jokes and whatever, but literally not only do we not get money, we get zero support from anybody. We're in this front completely on our own.
That's, of course, what somebody would say who gets a lot of...
Who gets paid $7,000, of course. Come on, let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest. Yeah. But that being said, it's something that I think Charlie Kirk's letter, and I see, by the way, this week that Bibi Netanyahu started a new Instagram page to take questions like the Prime Minister's office, I forgot what it's called, and I see that he's actually taking it seriously, his letter. And I think that the more we wake up to the fact that we can't actually ignore this media war, we have to be involved in this media war. I say no more defending Israel. We don't need to say good things about Israel, explain why LGBTQ rights, this, democracy. I say, fuck that. We need to be at 100% on the offense right now.
Yeah.
Like, if people look at my content, they know I don't go and defend Israel. I don't say, hey, Israel killed this many people in Gaza today. I need to defend why that happened. No. You're murdering millions of Muslims in Sudan. Please give me an answer as to why. Why are you murdering millions of Muslims in Somalia? Why are you murdering millions of Muslims in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Syria? Why the fuck are you doing all these horrible atrocities every day? And all you care about, seemingly, is Palestine.
Israel is waging is in a conflict where Israel is outnumbered, and there is a lot of propaganda out there. To counter this propaganda, there should be people who explain to everyone what's actually going on. So that was what Hasbara was about, is to explain people the truth about why things are happening.
Yeah.
It worked in the past to a certain extent. It won't really work today.
Won't work.
And it also shouldn't really happen, as you said. I mean, I agree with that entirely. I think Israel shouldn't be in a position of trying to explain itself. Israel shouldn't be in a position of trying to, defend itself with words. It doesn't really work that way, especially with social media. People don't really listen to that stuff anymore. People just listen to who is most emotional, who is most assertive, who has the most, short, hard-hitting lines and all that.
Have you ever seen the UAE or Saudi Arabia? No. And I have respect for these countries to a certain extent. Have you ever seen them coming out and explaining why they had to kill a bunch of Yemenis?
No.
They've never had to make a statement. They've never had to make an Instagram infographic defending why they need to do it. They have to operate. This is how the world works. Hek dunya, that's what they say.
And some of these countries mentioned, they're in the middle of very destructive wars where they are literally starving entire populations, but nobody asks them why they're doing that.
No.
And they don't come out and explain why they do that.
No.
It's just, they are in the middle of a conflict, and they don't explain it because that is how things are done.
Yeah.
They are being attacked in the most brutal way by the other side. They are attacking. They are counterattacking in the most brutal ways, and they don't have to explain themselves. Of course, when it comes to Israel, when it comes to Jews, you have to explain yourself. You have to explain what's happening. You have to explain what the hell is going on. And this once again goes back to the fact that you are Jews, you are Israelis, and you are here in the Holy Land, in Jerusalem and its surroundings, which are very, very crucial in narrative only, not actually in religion, but in narrative only to Muslims. So Muslims around the world, when there is a conflict here between Muslims and Jews, will consider it their obligation to jump in and to say whatever they can to support their own side and to attack the other side. It doesn't really matter to them whether it's true or not. It's just full-on mass propaganda. And you have to somehow counter it. You can't really counter it by having a small number of people and maybe paying some people here and there and helping them, making them explain it. It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
You will have to wage your war. You will have to assert your power as you do in the Middle East. And then you can maybe you can inform people about what your rights actually are, on how you are actually right, on how this other side actually deserved the operation that you conducted. Don't, stop explaining to people, oh yeah, so many people were killed. Well, we had to do it because of this and this and this. No, we conducted an operation because we had to. It's over, successful, fantastic.
Yeah. You don't see any examples of this in the Middle East or in this region at all, of people, even in Russia. You don't see Russia explaining why they did an operation against Ukraine, vice versa. You don't see Ukraine coming up. They say, we did this. There's no explanation as to why we did it. We did it. We're at war.
Yeah.
But somehow, for some reason, this country, and the problem is that we feed into it.
Yeah.
We like the self-gratification that comes with feeling like we're not evil, like feeling like we're doing something right. The reality is, in this region, as you know better than most people, you have to be a little bit evil in this region to survive here. You have to add a little bit of negativity in this region to survive here, because it's a dog-eat-dog world out here.
Yeah.
We can't do everything with positivity and love and kindness as much as we'd want to do it.
That's the European way. That's the Western way to do it, and it's a failure. It fails. It doesn't succeed because you are not dealing with people who will be charitable in return when you are charitable to them. Of course, this is the thing that I had yesterday. So we walked through the old city of Jerusalem, and we actually had a tourist guide with us who was an old Jewish man, very kind, very nice. was walking with us. He had some nice interactions with Arab Muslims in the old city. And then at some point he turned to me and said, see, this is how we live here. We live here together with, Christians, Jews, Muslims. We respect each other. We help each other and everything is good. We don't have to fight. And I thought, yeah, that's very, very nice. But the thing is, there is an illusion here. There is an illusion. There is a little bit of a delusion here at play. Yes, of course, you can be nice to each other. You can support each other. You can help each other. And yes, I can, as somebody who really doesn't like Islam, I can be very nice with Muslims. I can, have friendships with them and all that. The thing is, there is always an underlying problem that is in the spirit of the Middle East, of Islam, of the conflicts over here, which is as much as you might get along, as much as you might appease certain people, certain populations, as much as you might be nice to certain individuals here, there is still an underlying brutality at play here, which you can never ignore. If you ignore it, you are letting down your guard and allowing them to hit you at your weakest point when you never expected. This is what Europe does wrong. This is what Israel, unfortunately, you have to say it, in some regards did wrong on October 7, because they thought, we are appeasing people. We are making peace. I think it's going to work out. Then they came and hit you when you least expected it. So you have to, when you are in this region, when you are at conflict with these people here, you have to, of course, be good, be charitable, be nice, but you also have to always be on guard, and you have to be harsh when you need to be harsh.
You have to be harsh.
You have to be harsh in response when people are harsh to you.
Correct.
This is part of being good. This is part of living here and making things good. It's actually, you have to be harsh. Sometimes you have to be brutal. Sometimes you have to be very forceful in order to create a better world in this place. It is part of it. It doesn't make things worse. It makes things better in the long term, especially for your own people. This is what Israel has been doing since October 7 very much. And I hope that Israel keeps doing it. Unfortunately, there are lots of, there's a lot of splintering and splitting inside the politics of Israel.